Angry MGTOW here. Today we're discussing Rachel Dolezal. Now, Rachel Dolezal is a white woman who identifies as black. She is now jobless and maybe homeless soon. Go figure. So many of you will remember Rachel. This is a picture of Rachel, and she basically was the leader of an NCAAP chapter, which is an African American chapter supporting African Americans. And she identified as a black woman until her parents outed her as a white woman. I forget if she's of Swedish descent specifically, but she is European, and she identifies as black. What she did was she essentially used chemicals to make her hair more frizzy, got a spray tan, and began identifying herself as a black woman. Interesting story, though, is that she sued Howard University a number of years ago for discriminating against her on the grounds of her being a white woman. But now she's entirely a black woman. And the irony is that now she is jobless and maybe homeless soon. I'm looking at a Fox News article, which I'll link in the description. Rachel Dolezal, the infamous white woman who for years passed herself off as African American and rose to become head of an NAACP branch, is now jobless, on food stamps, and expects to be homeless soon. A defiant Dolezal, 39, recounted her current plight to The Guardian. Oh, The Guardian. Dolezal said she's only been offered jobs in reality television and porno flicks. A friend helped her come up with the money for February's rent, and she doesn't know how she's going to pay for March. And she still says she's not white. I do think a more complex label would be helpful. We don't really have that vocabulary, Dolezal told The Guardian. I feel like the idea of being trans black would be much more accurate than I'm white. Because I'm not white. Calling myself black feels more accurate than saying I'm white. Dolezal was exposed in June 2015 when a local television crew asked her the simple question, "Are you African American?" Pictures of a younger, white-skinned and blonde-haired Dolezal soon surfaced and her story exploded. The formerly successful leader of the Spokane NAACP chapter and a university professor, Dolezal, who once sued historically black Howard University for racial discrimination because she was white, now says she's been turned down for 100 jobs and her memoir was rejected by 30 publishers before finding a taker. She's also apparently begun ruffling feathers in the transgender community by claiming that race like gender is fluid. It's more so, Dolezal told The Guardian, because it wasn't even biological to begin with. It was always a social construct. Dolezal said she's never considered identifying as white again. I feel that I was born with the essential essence of who I am, whether it matches my anatomy and complexion or not, Dolezal said. I've never questioned being a girl or a woman, for example, but whiteness has always felt foreign to me. For as long as I can remember, I didn't choose to feel this way or be this way, I just am. What other choice is there than to be exactly who we are? Guys, we're going to see more and more of this type of nonsense arriving as people begin to say that, well, I could choose my gender, so I can also choose my race. I can choose to say that I'm an alien from another planet because I feel like an alien from another planet, so I should be identified as an alien from another planet. On Fox News, Dr. Keith, I forget his last name, but he is a psychiatrist who works for Fox News. He pointed out how nonsensical this was and how this is just another inch in the belt of the so-called New World Order, where now, under the New World Order, you can be anything you want to be. I have been very hesitant to bring up the whole New World Order thing because, honestly, I think that it's us as society that's pushing and allowing this type of madness to happen. But this is just a great example of how psychotic feminism has enabled women to behave, to literally say that if they're a fish, they're a fish. Don't forget that currently there's a man, I believe in Canada, who is something like 50 years old. He has a bunch of children, and he's currently living with an older couple and identifies as like a 6-year-old girl. 6-year-old girl. He feels like a little girl, so he must be a little girl. Historically, we would say this is a mental disorder. But in reality, no one wants to actually tackle the argument. No one wants to actually acknowledge that we are now living in a society where we have completely gone off the deep end. The thing is, once the genie is out of the bottle, how do you put it back in? And can you put it back in? Feminism is what literally started the madness when women basically said that they were men. They were equal to men. They could do everything that men could do. In fact, they were probably even better. And essentially, when you started saying that men and women were the same, then people started saying, well, then boys and girls are the same, or that gender is just a construct. Gender is in the brain. It's not anatomy. And from there, we began spiraling even further down until now we're at a point where forget about gender, forget about any type of practicality. You can be anything you want to be. If you want to be a fish, you can be a fish. Granted, you might drown if you try to live like one, but hey, you can be a fish. If you say you're an alien from another planet, you're an alien from another planet, and people need to use your pronouns that are common on your home world. Welcome to the new madness that feminism has indoctrinated society with. You really have to wonder what direction we're truly headed in. Actually, you can see the direction we're headed. We're already over the cliff. The question is, how far is the bottom? We've already gone over the cliff. We just haven't hit the ground yet. All right? We just have to keep asking, how much further do we need to fall before we hit the ground and go splat and everything implodes on us? We have a generation of materialistic, narcissistic, egocentric women who literally don't know what it means to be feminine. We have a generation of young men that were raised by feminist mothers who told them that being masculine was bad. And now they no longer know what it means to be a man, to feel like a man, to live like a man, to express yourself in a masculine way. I look at the current state of things and I'm realizing increasingly that Donald Trump is going to win in 2020. Donald Trump, that's not a prediction. The real question is, by what margin? You see, as things continue to go downhill and women start to realize, shit, the welfare state is dead, we need other options now. More and more people are going to jump onto the Donald Trump bandwagon saying, we don't like this anymore. And as more men start to invade what were traditionally female safe spaces, saying that they're also women. For example, imagine a trans woman saying that they want to spend time in a safe space for women because they are women also. That would be discrimination, wouldn't it? Because there's no such thing as gender. Gender is in the brain, it's not in the genitals. So even if a well-built man who weighs 250 pounds, completely muscular, decides that he would like to go and hang around with the girls in the female restroom because he feels like a woman, hey, it's perfectly fine. Let him in. The same thing goes with women if they want to come and hang out in the men's bathroom and stand behind us as we pee. Perfectly fine. Because they identify as men. This is the nonsense that we are living in. The 1984 dystopia that George Orwell wrote about. When you look at the nature of Animal Farm and how things deteriorated in Animal Farm, that's a book written by George Orwell. The book starts off with the animals saying, 2 legs bad, 4 legs good. However, by the end of the book, they're now saying, or at least the pigs are saying, which then the pigs represent the feminist, 4 legs good, but 2 legs better. Because now they're walking on 2 legs. Now they've become the people that they so despised. And it's quite interesting because they basically went and enslaved all the other animals around them. That's exactly what's happening with white feminists. White upper class, middle class, upper class feminists are essentially enslaving the rest of society. And when shit hits the fan, the ones at the top will be those people. The ones at the very bottom will be most white women who don't have the resources to take care of themselves, who got useless gender studies degrees and can't get a job now. Especially when those jobs, those lucrative 9-to-5 jobs no longer exist, or to get one of the very few that do, you have to have a multitude of skills. Plus you have to also be able to act like a functional adult and have basic common sense. The legacy of feminism is a dystopic society where people don't even know how to act like adults anymore. They don't know what roles they're supposed to play, and they can't get along with each other. People like Mark Zuckerberg have been called out by Fox, by Dr. Keith, who talks about how dangerous Mark is because he explains to people that on Facebook, you don't actually have to identify as who you actually are. For example, on Facebook, you're whoever you want to be. Just put up the right pictures and portray yourself as anyone. It doesn't matter that across the world there are people in another country who wish to do you harm. No. Facebook is one big safe space. And the way that Facebook works is that the reality of the world and the reality of Facebook are one and the same. The way Facebook polices language, the way Facebook tells you what's acceptable versus what's unacceptable. Facebook is literally rewiring the human brain. It's rewiring the way millennials and people in general think and behave to know what is acceptable from a liberal perspective versus from a human perspective, from a real world perspective, from the reality of things. It's a very dangerous platform. Same thing we're seeing with Twitter. All these left-leaning platforms. Essentially telling people that the world is one big safe space and everyone will do exactly what you want them to do because what you say is what should go. And you have to love the hypocrisy that falls in line with these people because what they say and what they do are 2 very different things. Think about this very carefully. If feminism was actually about equality between men and women, actual equality, men would not care whatsoever. Hey, a woman wants to go out and get a job, earn her own money, take care of herself, not live off the government, get the exact same amount of resources from the government that men get. It would be fucking incredible. Because a lot of women wouldn't want to live that way and would actually increase the value of men even more. But because women are also receiving subsidiaries from the government in public programs, social welfare, all this other crap, now they're able to think that they're equal while also being propped up by daddy government. But that shit is coming to an end soon and very soon. I also want to remind you guys that I make 3 of these videos every single day, so please consider becoming a Patreon by going over to my YouTube homepage and clicking on the Patreon donate link. When you become a Patreon, you can make a pledge for as little as $5 a month. There's all these great incentives, including bonus videos that are exclusive to Patreon, access to purchase Angry MGTOW t-shirts, tons and tons of great things. So definitely please check out Patreon, and you can also submit video requests via Patreon. So, with that said, and just remember, you can become Patreon for as little as $5. With that said, also never miss another Angry MGTOW video by enabling notifications. You can click on the notification button below any of my videos that's next to the subscribe button. When you click on that button, you'll see a pop-up that says, send me all notifications for this channel. Check the box, hit save. Once you've done that, you will always receive a notification whenever I'm live streaming or whenever I put out a new video. And again, if you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree that feminism has destroyed society, and it's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if we've gone over the cliff. We've already done that. It's a matter of when will we hit the ground? And what will the collateral damage be at that point? How far will we have actually fallen as a society? Let me know what you think in the comments section. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you liked the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers!